Hello, welcome to Michell Consulting Group webinar series. This is for our Michell University. Today we're going to discuss SAP Business One and a new functionality called the cash flow. So again, this is available in the version 8.8, which we'll be using today for the demonstration. So let's talk about the cash flow enhancement and see some of the setup. First thing we need to do is we need to go into administration, system initialization, and under the general settings, you will see a new field, a new tab for the cash flow. So you can do the assignment of cash flow. It could be mandatory, which is required in all the transactions related to cash flow, or you can set it as optional. In this case, we're going to use optional. We have our default primary cash flow line items. So for incoming payments, we're going to set this for all payments of invoices from customers. We have our outgoing payments, payments for invoices from the vendors. You can also do it with a warning. So you can now allow a warning if cash flow information is not entered, or you can have it set without warning. So we're going to leave this set without warning. So again, this is a new tab in the general settings for cash flow. Also, if we go to the chart of accounts, under the accounts in the asset drawer, we have now, we look here at our cash and bank checking, we have the cash account, which was standard in the SAP, and now we have a new field here relative to cash flow. This is grayed out because I've already have transactions. Once a transaction is set, this will be relative to cash flow. So we have this one relative to cash flow. So we would set our accounts that we want to use in our cash flow report, cash flow relative. So let's go in now, and we're going to do a couple transactions. Let's look at a journal entry. Look at some of the new forms. So we're going to enter it on today's date. We're going to do a journal entry. We're going to select the bank account. We'll look at the cash and bank here. Let's do a simple one. We're going to go here, and we're going to credit this account. And now we have this primary form. We can see here, we can define for our cash flow analysis what this transaction is used for. So let's say we're going to, this is the cash paid for electricity. We can set that up. We can go in here. Let's select the utilities account. So we're going to do a simple journal entry. What we're doing is we're going to credit the bank. We're going to pay the electric bill. Again, we can come here, and we can see that this is grayed out on the line because this account itself is not an asset account. Therefore, it's not relative to budget. So you can see I have the option here on the actual cash account. If we were to go in and put the cash account again, again, we have the option for that transaction. So we can split this, or we can say that was for electricity, and this one was for phones. And again, we can set our offsetting accounts. Let's just take this one right here. And again, our offsets. We can see how this is stored in the journal entry. This is in the journal entry as well as the journal vouchers. All the transactions are stored this way. So let's just add this. We go back and take a look at it. We can see that we have the information here. It's also relative in the banking. It's in the incoming as well as outgoing payments and the payment wizard. So let's go in and let's go to banking, and let's do an incoming payment. Let's just select this transaction. Let's go to our payment means. We're going to do a bank transfer. We're going to select, again, the account that's relative to the cash flow, which is the cash and banking checking account. You can see down here how this information appears. Because again, it's coming from the customers. We can put our date, and we can do a right click and copy our balance due. We click OK, and we add. Let's go back and take a look at that. So we see here, this is what we selected. If we go to our payment means, you can see here then the amount. If we look at our effect in general ledger, again, automatically affecting the bank account, which again, this account is set to be relative to cash flow. You can see that it automatically fills in the primary form item. In this case, it was payments for invoices from a customer, and the corresponding offset to the business partner. Let's do a outgoing payment. Let's select customer here, vendor. Again, we're going to make a payment. We're going to go to our payment means. Move this over here so we can get it on the screen. And you can see here if we select check, again, if we select our check, we can see the primary here. We can see it in our bank transfers. We can see it in our credit cards. As well as our cash information here. So let's go back and do another bank transfer. Let's set a transfer date. Again, we're having the you can see here the primary form item. And again, we're going to right click, copy balance due, and I'm going to click OK. We're going to add this transaction. I can take a look at it. Again, if we go to the payment means, you can see here the payments for invoices to vendors. And if we look at our transaction, again, we can see it here. This holds true in the payment wizard. Remember that when we run the payment wizard is going to create our outgoing payments. You see down here, created by payment wizard. So the payment wizard will execute the same principles with the cash flow and actually create it. We can also set authorizations for this. Let's look at that. So if we go to administration, system initialization, authorizations, general authorizations, we can go ahead and we can set access. We can see here, we have our cash flow. So if we were to select somebody who's not a super user, for example here, this person, we can go in and we can give them authorization, no authorization, or a read-only mode. And it's added in the standard authorizations. Okay, so now let's look at some of the reporting. Go to financials, financial reports, financials, and we see cash flow. Again, we can go here. We can actually look at the cash flow criteria. We can add transactions. This is the standard SAP one we have here. We have the different information. So let's now look at the new one, the statement of cash flow. This one allows us to actually look at an actual range versus a previous range. So here we're going to look at today. We have templates, which we'll review in a moment, how to choose a template. We can go here and we can create a template. We're going to use the default cash flow direct method template. We can also compare this, so if we want to run, say, a month, we can click here and we can have it compared to a previous selection, maybe month versus year to date. Here we're just going to look at the posting period. I'm going to click OK, and we're going to see our report. Again, you see the information coming in, the payments from the customers. You see our incoming payment. You see here our cash paid to the vendor, our outgoing payment. And here you see the split of the general ledger, the journal entry, where we paid $1,000 for electricity and $100 for the phone. We have our total information and so on. We can make adjustments in here if we wish. Okay. We can then just adjust these. For example, let's say we don't want to include something. We can actually take them out and the adjustments. And again, we have the total information. So we have that available to run here. For the templates, we can actually go here and look at our templates. So if we go into finance, and now we have in our financial reports template, standard SAP, and the other versions, we had the balance sheet, the profit and loss, and the trial balance. Now we also have the statement of flows. So we can go here. We can see the one that was already set up. We can generate a new one. And then we can create it here. We can also, like the standard templates for the balance sheet, profit and loss, and trial balance, we can start with the default, and then we can go ahead and we can remove information from here. We can also select a GL account if we want, create a new one. Okay, again, we can remove the rows. We can add to the same level. We can delete the line, and we can copy the line. So if we want to add to the same level, we can give it a name. We double-click on it. And here we can go ahead and we can select the GL. So we can select, let's say, we're going to select our cash and bank. And we can also select our calculation method. We can do the beginning of the period. So we'll pick out the balance at the beginning of a period, end of period, the current period in the debit column, the current period in the credit column, and we can do the current period of the debit and credit. Again, you would decide which one you want to use. If you're using the other periods, the current debit or current credit or current period in both, when you run the report, you should select the open balance. You want to get a true historical value. Yeah, we can do that. So, and the period. Okay, once we select one, we can only have one. So in this case, we have that. We're going to update that, and so on. The other ones here, you can see, again, are coming from the payments of the lines. You can see that we set up those templates. So these are all the information defined here. So these we have set up. We can define new ones. Once we define a new one, we can add it to our lines. And again, we can go here. And we can go ahead and choose our cash flow lines. Or we can actually create a new one. So we're going to create this as the new. We can actually choose our line here, and we can add it. I'm going to go ahead and cancel that. We're going to cancel this. So again, let's recap what we see in SAP. SAP Business One, the new version 8.8.2. So if we go into the administration, we go to system initialization, general settings. We now have a new tab called the cash flow. You can assign the cash flow line items. You can make them mandatory. So they must be entered. You can do an optional. We can override and enter if we wish. We can set defaults for the primary cash flow line items. So in this case, we have incoming payments are going to be flagged on our report as payments or invoices from customers. Outgoing payments are going to be flagged as payments for invoices from vendors. You can also choose to have ignore without warning or select a warning. Once we turn this on, this will actually generate the cash flow. Our next step is to go into our chart of accounts, our asset accounts. We would select the accounts that we want to have as cash account, and as well as relative to cash flow. Down here we select that. These become part of the system. You can see now that anytime we use a count that's relative to cash flow, we will get the options. So if we go to our journal entries, and we again select an account, again, we have our drop down. We can select here. And again, if we want to define new, we can always go here, define new assignment. So we can create a new one. Maybe these are not ones we want. So we want to create a new loan. We can always do that. Otherwise, we can say create cash for rent. Again, we can split this. And then we would do our offsetting accounts. Once we add this, again, we go back and take a look at it. We can see the information here. This also holds true in the incoming and outgoing payments. So we go to our banking, incoming payments. We're going to select the customer. So we're going to pay this invoice here. We go to our payment means. And we're going to put our account. You can also see here, we can do a check. In this case, we're not going to do a check. We're going to do our account. We're going to select our cash and bank checking. And again, you can see it's coming from here. That's our primary set, so we're not going to change that. Put our transfer date. monthly balance due. We'll go ahead and add this transaction. Call the transaction up. If we look at the effective general ledger, again, you can see it's coming here on the primary form item. This is going to show on our cash flow report. Same holds true with the outgoing payments as well as the payment wizard. Remember, the payment wizard actually generates the outgoing payments. For this demo, we're just going to go ahead and create the outgoing payment, but you see here that if this was done by the wizard, it would be created here. So we're going to go ahead and choose our vendor. Again, select the invoice we want to pay. We're going to go to our payment means. We can see here that the primary form item is payments for invoices to vendors. Right-click, copy our balance due, click OK, and we're going to add. We take a look at that. Again, we look at the effective general ledger. We have our primary form item. This is what links to the cash flow report. So if we go to financials, financial reports, financial, we now have the cash flow, statement of cash flow. Again, we can select a range. So here now we can select our new format we just created because we have our two different templates. We can do an actual period, so we can put a date range. So let's just put today through today. And again, if we want to do a comparison, so maybe we want to do a current month versus a year to date, we can select here. If we want to use that, we have to select on here, the previous period. We click OK, and then we have our actual and our previous period. And again, you can see the information coming here. Again, we have our format. We have the new cash flow line that we created. Okay, and we had that relative to the general ledger account. So you can see here the actual period is this amount because this is the balance that is in the actual GL account. Remember, we selected this one as opposed to a general ledger account. We go back and look at the default cash flow. We don't have that. We did not add that, but this is what we had here. Again, let's look at that again, depending on our formats. We can see here, and the reason why we have this large amount here is we had this linked to a specific GL account. So if we want to see the balance in the GL account, we can do that. Again, we have the option of doing an adjustment. Once we click on adjustments, we can edit all these fields, change the amounts if we wish. So let's look at that. So let's go into the financial report template. The current versions of SAP Business One, you had the balance sheet, profit and loss, and trial balance. We now have the statement of cash flows, as well as the fixed asset module. So if we go here and we select our new format, you can see here on this one, if we double click, we had selected a GL account. Not that one, here, cash flow line. Here we had selected a general ledger account. So we're looking at the cash in the bank, and we're looking at the end of period. Now, if we want to just look at the current debits versus credits, let's go here and let's do this one. Let's update and update. Go back to our statement of cash flow. And you can see here now that our new cash flow line has changed because we're looking at the total debits and credits that took place within the date range. So we're looking at the net effect for one day. That's how that works. So again, we can assign those, set up our system. So that concludes today's Michell University session for SAP Business One cash flow. We're going to be recording this webinar. This will be available on our website. You can visit us at www.michellgroup.com to view. Once again, thank you for your time.